What is up, everybody? Welcome to a beginner's guide for the Pokemon Trading Card Online game. My name is Robbie Dagger, and I'll be going over this with ya. Welcome. I hope you're having an awesome day. Sit tight, because there's going to be a lot of info coming your way. So first of all, let me tell you, this game has been out since 2011. It was actually released under a different name. It was called... Ooh, let me try to remember. It was called Pokemon Trainer Challenge. Back in 2011, it was released as a browser game. So, you know, humble beginnings. This was made by an American company, American studio called Direwolf Digital. I don't know any of Direwolf Digital's other work, but I will say I've been playing this game for about a week, and so far I'm definitely getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. So let's get started. First of all, it is available for, there's a PC version, Microsoft Windows version. There is an OS X version, there is an iPad version, and there is a version for Androids. Not an iPhone version. There is no iPhone version. I'm not sure why, but that just doesn't exist. And so you could play this pretty much on any device except for an iPhone. And it's completely free to play. And it's, as far as microtransactions go, there's pretty much nothing. There's actually nothing. There's no microtransactions in the game, but we'll talk about that a little bit in more detail in just a second. First thing I'm going to do is explain this HUD right here really quick. There's not that much going on, honestly, which is awesome, but let me explain everything I can. So first of all, this little play button here will take you to the trainer challenge. This is basically single player mode. This is where you'll fight the AI, and you do get a lot of prizes. Let me just click on this to show you guys. You do get a lot of prizes for coming in here. Let me show you how this works. So you're going to start, this is the first thing you're going to be doing when you first boot up the game. It's pretty much going to have you do the trainer challenge, and you do want to do it because you're going to start with 3 decks. You're going to start with Crushing Current, which is an electric deck, and then you'll also start with Born of Fire, and then you'll start with Hidden Depths. So you'll have these 3 decks at your disposal. There is also a free deck that you can get, but you won't be able to use it in the trainer challenge, I believe. But there's free codes that you can basically look up online. If you... Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about redeeming codes in a moment. But let me tell you really quick. So you'll start with the fire, the lightning, and the water decks. And basically you'll start in the gold section. And you'll just be working your way through the challenges here. So you'll just beat these challengers one at a time. As you can see, I've already done all this. But then there's another thing here. There's another little trick that I had to learn the hard way. There's these little stars down here. So at first I had no idea what was going on with these. But so what this is, these stars, basically, if you beat these trainers with a deck, you will get a star. So basically, to get 4 stars, and basically what this is a free booster pack. So free booster packs for doing this, and there's tons of them. So you're going to get tons of free good stuff once you start this game and start playing it. So basically, you would fight, I mean, and you only start with 3 decks, so you are going to have to buy one, and I'll talk about that in a second too. So basically, you'll fight, you can just go through all this at once. That's what I did at first, and then I went back and I got all my stars that way. So just using a different deck will get you another star. So 4 different decks and you'll get the booster pack. So lots of booster packs up for grabs. As far as which deck you should use when you first start, the 3 decks they start you with are actually pretty good. I have really no complaints. I didn't use the water one much, but I did use the fire one, and the thunder one ended up being my favorite. The thunder deck is actually very, very good. So just pick your favorite deck, or I would recommend actually trying them all out, you know, because there are weaknesses and everything if you're completely new to the Pokemon card game. So just keep that in mind as you fight the trainers. And you'll see that when you do go to buy a deck, you'll have a little, like a number basically. And what this means is you have to beat 12 trainers with this deck in order to, basically you'll get a free booster pack for doing all the 12 battles with each different deck. And as you can see, it's individual, it's per deck. So I have to go back and do all these. I've only got 2 more with this deck that I need to do to get the free booster pack, and I've got like 0 with this deck that I need. Also, when you first start, you are going to have to play with all the starter decks, because they're going to start you incomplete. You won't have all the best cards in the decks when you first start the game. So just keep that in mind. Play with all the decks so you can get kind of your bearing and learn everything, and then that way you'll unlock all the cards. You're going to want all the cards unlocked for if you want to do any kind of versus playing against players or anything. I would say once you do get a basic understanding of, you know, how to play the card game, the versus in this game is awesome. Let's talk about that next. Honestly, I was beating the crap out of people with the Lightning starter deck. Once I learned how to like use it, you know, my best. So don't be afraid to go into versus and like get your battles in, get your feet wet with some versus. And as you can see, every deck that you purchase using your points, which we'll talk about later, every single deck is available to you to use in the themes. So these are all what these are called is theme decks. So these what that means is basically the deck is already pre-built. You don't have to do anything extra to these decks. They're already, you just like click and play basically. So this is what you'll spend your time. This is what you'll do more as a new player. As you get your decks built and, you know, you find out what you like, you'll start modifying decks. And there's a standard, which is basically, this is all Sun and Moon. Oh, I know this is a lot of information, guys, but try to hang with me. So this is all Sun and Moon, newer types of cards. And when you go to Expanded, this is basically almost every card in this game. There are a couple of cards that are banned, and you can't use them just because they're broken or whatever. But this is where you'll play. Expanded is where I mostly play with my custom decks here. So I've got some custom decks, and you know, it'll let you look at them and everything. We'll look at this more on a different page in just a second. So the last one here is legacy decks. I don't have any, so I haven't been able to make them, so we won't talk about that. You probably, if you're starting this game as a new player at this moment, you're not going to have any of these types of decks, just like me. So real quick, the versus rewards, every day they reset at, well, for me it's like 7 p.m. Eastern time, but here's what you get every single day. So every single day you can get yourself, so these present boxes are actually pretty legit. Like, you'll get a bunch of in-game currency from these a lot of times, and that's pretty much mostly what I've gotten from these little present boxes, which is awesome. I'm never gonna say no to that. And then, you know, you're getting in-game currency per wins, and honestly guys, the wins are not hard to get, especially if you're just starting. You're going to be playing other new players, because there is like an in-game ranking system, but it's kind of hidden. It's kind of, there's like an algorithm, but it doesn't show up anywhere in the game. So get in there, you'll just be playing other new players and like fight the new players. It's honestly not that much different from playing the AI until you have won a ton of battles, and then you're fighting really skilled players. But, you know, basically, there's over 100 points in here up for grabs every day, but you'll probably get somewhere close to 200 to 300 points, depending on what's going on. And then I believe it's 20 days, there's 3 sets of versus rewards, so you're going to be getting tons of free stuff here. You see here, I already got all the points. There's treasure chests that sometimes have some really good stuff in it, honestly. This week, or this session, this month basically, we got this Cobalion EX card. EX and GX cards are the best cards in the game right now. So if you can get a free card basically, and it's 2 free cards, so if all you had to do was score 210 points, this is easy. You could do this in one day, in like one sitting. Honestly, it's pretty damn easy. And then you know, you can get more cards coming up here to the end. I'm sorry, I believe it's 1 card. It was 1 card for this side, and then you can get a second card here. But I mean, just look at all the stuff you're getting on the way. You're getting 225 at this point. You're just getting a lot of good stuff, a lot of resources. So if you are interested in, you know, once you get used to the game, I would recommend coming in here to versus mode. You're gonna have a lot of fun in here. Yeah. So under that, this is events. So you'll see, I didn't explain this just yet because we're not there yet, but right next to our points here, which is our in-game currency, we've got these tickets here. And these tickets, what these allow you to do is they allow you to participate in tournaments. So these are on-demand tournaments. These are always here all the time, and they just start. Basically, you jump in here. As long as you have enough tickets, you're gonna jump in, and you'll start, and you'll do your best in the tournament. As you can see, hold on. As you can see, this one's is for theme decks, so this will probably be where you're hanging out if you're a new player. And then when you get your, have a good amount of cards and you can build like a pretty solid deck, you can do standard and expanded. So what's awesome about this is even if you come in here and you do really shitty, you're going to get a reward. So it's worth it to do these once you start getting tickets. So even if you do horrible, you at least get this chest. And this chest, I've gotten GX and EX cards, which is the best cards in the game out of these little brown chests. So you can get some good stuff out of here. Also, I think every single one of these has in-game currency. So very, very good idea to just come up in here and participate in tournaments once you start getting confident. There is a tutorial that you can run through if you just need to learn the game a little bit. But I will say the game does a really good job at teaching you the game and all the mechanics and stuff if you're brand new. Like for me, I was brand new. I had never played. I mean, I collected Pokemon cards before in my past, but I had never played the battle game. I always thought it was like kind of too complicated, and I never had all the cards, honestly, to get into it. So what I really like the online version of this is because you don't have to physically have all these cards. You just you could just jump in and start playing and start buying the decks you like. You know, start building decks around the Pokemon you like. So that's what I really like about this. So let's talk really quick about, this is where you'll basically see, you can look at all your cards here. You can look at it. So if you know Pokemon cards, there's regular Pokemon, of course, and then there's trainer cards, which are, there's a lot of stuff in here. Basically, there's item cards you can use, and then there's like there's stadium cards you can use, which is like a weather effect if you're familiar with the new Pokemon games. There's basically items, Pokeballs, all the stuff you're gonna need to help yourself out. And then you got your energy here. Yeah, you need energy to make all your plays, so. And then packs is actually where you're going to go. So real important. This is where you're going to go to open stuff that you got from the game. So if you don't know to come here, you'll just basically all those packs that you bought and like earn will just sit here for a long time. And that's what happened with me. It was like 5 days into playing when I first realized I had to come here to open these packs. So click the pack section when you do buy or earn new stuff, and this is where you'll pop them open. And then the gameplay tab for me right now has just got like these coins. It's basically like, this is all cosmetic stuff. So nothing too crazy there. And then avatar. There's extra stuff for your avatar. There's like free codes that you can use in unlimited times if you want this Mewtwo shirt. There's also like a hat you can get for free too. But there is an avatar in this game. You can edit it and everything. And I think the thing you're supposed to do, I think what everybody does is just make a cute chick avatar. I'm pretty sure that's the meta right now. Deck Manager is where you'll go to basically build decks, and building decks is really easy, guys. So when you're brand new, you're not really gonna know how to build a deck. Honestly, you're gonna be like, well, I mean, I don't really know what the decks need, but let me break this down and make it really easy. So basically, what you can do is start with a deck that you like, if you want to, and then hit this button right here. What this will do, this will clone the deck, but what it does is it clones it, and then it makes it your own so that you can start editing it. And then you come down to this, oop, click that a little fast. So you'll come down to this screw, this is a wrench. It's a wrench, but basically it will allow you to edit your deck. And this is where we can move all this around and we can start editing this deck. Say I love this deck, but man, I really don't like this hippo in here. Let's take them all the way out. Let's take them all the way out, and we'll add, let's add another Lucario in here. So basically, you can kind of add what you have. If you don't have the card, it's going to come up gray in here and you won't be able to use the deck. So just keep that in mind if you see the gray on there. And then there are filters to make it all easier to look through. I won't explain all this because it's kind of self-explanatory, honestly. And yeah, that's how you'll edit a deck. My recommendation for editing a deck and like creating your own deck is I kind of follow the 20-20-20 rule, or I guess you could just call it the 20 rule, where you have around 20 Pokemon, you have around 20 trainer cards, and you have around 20 energy. So decks were not always built like that in the trading card game, but what I've noticed is that the newest decks in this game are built like that. And the reason is because this game plays a lot faster than it used to. You know, the plays are bigger, the plays are faster, the combos are more, I don't know, I guess more impressive and all that good stuff. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, there's not much else to explain here. There's a couple tabs to keep it all separated for you. I'm gonna delete this so it doesn't like mess me up later. I don't need that deck right now. But yeah, basically that's where you'll go to like kind of create your own deck and like edit your own deck. We'll talk more about deck building in a future video, if you guys want to. If you guys need that kind of video, just let me know down below in the comments, and we'll do a deck building guide if that's necessary. But that's basically my rule. I try to have at least 20 of everything. As you can see, this is one of the decks I built too, and I've got, you know, around 20 of each item. So if you stick to that, you'll never go wrong with building a deck. And of course, you can test your deck once you're done against the AI, and you'll want to do that. Honestly, you'll learn a lot just from like playing different decks and different cards. So get up in there, play with different decks, different stuff, and because it'll teach you a lot. One of my favorite freaking things in this, so most gacha type, mobile type games these days, you can't trade, and that's the worst thing about them, is that you can't trade. So just like real Pokemon cards, you can trade anytime you want here. We've got trade offers, so if someone wants to trade you, it'll come up in here. We've got public offers. I personally love this. So what this is showing me, as long as I have this clicked right here, what this is showing me is every possible trade that I'm able to make that's available right now. And as you can see, a lot of trades are possible for me right now. So, I mean, every once in a while, like before bed or something, I'll just like take a look at this and I'm like, do I want this, you know? And you know, there's an accept trade button, and basically you just double click this, and if it looks worth it to you, check it out. I mean, you can accept the trade right there and you will get these Pokemon immediately. If someone has a trade offer to you, it'll show up here, and then trade history will show up on that very last page if you've done some trades. So I love that you can trade. You can trade pretty much. There are untradeable cards, and you cannot trade a card that belongs in a deck. So if you see that you can't mark an item as trading, oh, and we need to do that, by the way, just for an example. So in order to be able to trade something like to somebody, it has to be marked as trade. Basically, when you're in your collection menu, where I am right now, we're looking here, and basically like how this Pokemon is not marked, it's got this trade locked. It belongs, sometimes they belong to a deck and you can't move them because of that, but sometimes it's like if you only have one of that item, it won't let you trade it because you've only got one. It like kind of locks you out like that. But if you have multiples and you have something you can trade, let me see if I can find something I can trade here. Like say Ash Greninja, you mark it for trade like that. And I mean, you're gonna get a lot of tooltip tabs. Some of them are really helpful. Some of them definitely you don't never want to see again. The ones you want to keep, while I'm remembering this, the ones you want to keep forever, for my opinion, is you want the one during battle that alerts you if you haven't attacked, and you want one during battle that alerts you when you haven't placed energy and you can place energy. So those are two tool tabs I would recommend never ever turning off, because they will kind of, honestly, they'll kind of save your butt. And you don't have to edit any of this. All these tabs and the tips and stuff will show up when you're first playing with the game, and you just unclick that if you want to untrade it, you know what I mean? So we don't want to mark this one as trade. I only got one of these and I love this guy, so I don't want to mark them. But let's move on here. So trading is awesome. You can also, like, if there's a really rare card that you really want, you could just buy it off of like eBay. You can buy it off another player if you want. If you don't want to like spend money, which my recommendation would be to like just the Reddit community for Pokemon trading, for the Pokemon trading card game is awesome. You can pretty much find a trade there if you need to. So if you've got just an ounce of patience, it's way better to hang out in the Reddit community than it is to be on eBay buying Pokemon cards, because I mean the price will add up and everything. But you can definitely just outright buy the card that you want if there is a card out there that you want for your deck for any reason. So something that a lot of gacha games, a lot of mobile games really don't do right at all. That's what I really love about the Pokemon trading card online version. So we talked about trades. Let's talk about the shop really quick. And then we'll talk about redeeming codes. So first of all, when you go to the shop, it's going to show you just a couple of featured things, and then you can click on popular. But then it'll show you booster packs, decks, gameplay. So when you first start this game, my recommendation for you, you're gonna have a lot of points. You're honestly gonna have a lot of points. I would recommend though that you buy a deck that you enjoy playing, kinda high up on the list. So you can go all the way back, and this game came out in 2011, and you can buy the first decks that were released in 2011, as you can see. So I clicked on the oldest deck from this game. It's Heart Gold and Soul Silver series, so we know we're using the time machine a little bit. But we can still buy it. We can do whatever we want. Yeah, but these decks are just not as good as the most current decks. If winning, and like earning points really fast is important to you, and I would recommend that you just buy a good deck. Honestly, your first deck should be something, maybe even, I would say this one. And I know this sucks, but like, I hate to tell people exactly what to get, but the best decks, like if you just want to get points fast and you don't want to lose a bunch of games and you want to be meta and you want to have something that starts you out strong, go ahead and pick up Blazing Volcano or pick up Stormcaller. These are basically the best two decks in the game right now. I would go here and I would look at the Pokemon on there and just look at the Pokemon and like see if it's Pokemon that you would like to use and all that. For these two decks, there are some awesome Pokemon in here, but honestly, these two decks pretty much are really hard to beat, and they work really well no matter what kind of hand you have. So all these decks are good. Anything, honestly, if you don't love these two brand new decks, the Mach deck is very meta right now, and it's very fast and easy to use. I would definitely recommend that one. But honestly, anything from the Sun and Moon series on. So anything from the Forest Shadow, which is your Desudii deck, anything going forward is going to be pretty damn good, and is going to it'll definitely get you through the trainer challenge, and you'll probably do really well in versus against other players. Anything older than that, like I actually do have some of these older decks, like I've got this one, because I love Greninja. He's one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. It's just, like, you can still win against other people, but once you start getting to the peak of your ratings, once you start fighting people who are as good as you, you're gonna notice that sometimes there's just not much you can do against some of these newer decks. So that's my recommendation for that. It's not gonna affect you until you have done, like, I would say over 100 versus battles or something like that. So honestly, jump in and just start playing with what you like, so that you can learn it. But there's a lot of decks here to choose from, and I would recommend your first 500 points that you do buy a deck first, because I mean, you can use the pre-built starter decks, and I will say they're pretty good. They're not bad. But you might want one of these just to kind of keep up with everybody else. Besides that, you can buy booster packs. Now, booster packs, it's just totally random. So you just kind of have to know what's coming in the booster pack and kind of be lucky, I guess. You're going to get a lot of free booster packs. So this is an area you don't want to spend too much time in. When you're a new player, I would definitely recommend picking up 2 or 3 decks before you start picking up booster packs exclusively, because basically how it works is this is going to be your skeleton, because you can buy any of these decks, say even if you just like 1 or 2 of the Pokemon in there, and you could use the decks for just those Pokemon in other decks, like custom decks, without having to get these Pokemon from another place. You just can't trade them because they belong to one of these decks. So hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about that, just post them down below. But yeah, I don't recommend buying booster packs if you're a brand new player until you have at least 1 or 2 decks that are decent, that you're pretty good with, that you like to use. So the next thing we'll talk about is the redeem codes. So this is actually amazing in the PC version. If you're using any other version, it's going to send you to the official Pokemon website where you're going to have to use a browser to do all this. But basically, you put in your codes here, and basically you'll claim your rewards real time in game. So say you really wanted some super rare card that isn't released anymore. Say you want a Sunny Day Lurantis or something, which is a super rare card. Say you bought it on eBay. Dude gives you a code. You would enter this code right here, and you would have that Pokemon right away. So very, very awesome here. I've only seen this on the PC version. I know this button does not exist on my iPad, so let me know if this is on your Android devices or anything like that. The next area, this is where, so this button will show your player level, and it takes forever to level up in this game. But let me show you kind of what this little screen looks like. So what I did was I clicked on that, and then I clicked on challenges. We'll go up to Avatar in a second. Avatar, there's not much to talk about there. It's just how you edit you'll edit the appearance of your player character, basically. But you'll see here, this is where, when you log in, it'll show you, you'll have a daily challenge. And you get 1 new one a day, but if you don't finish the challenge of the days before, it won't finish or change. So you're stuck with it. So you might as well try to finish that daily anytime you can. And sometimes it'll be things like beat people up with a water deck, level up a steel deck. So that's why you want to have a deck or 2 when you first start this game, so that you can be completing these dailies, so you can level up, basically. And as you can see, when you hit level 5, you get another daily challenge. What you unlock is basically cosmetic stuff. So this is a psychic coin that we can use to flip. This is basically a card skin for the back of the cards, and this is a card box. So nothing too crazy in here, but you want to level up. Definitely want to level up. Avatar, we'll talk about this real quick. Really not much to go over here. For some reason, my avatar is not showing up. I don't know why, but yeah, that's what my god looks like right now. And I'm pretty sure what you're supposed to do, what I've seen everybody else does, is they just make a super adorable female. So just do whatever you want. It's not a big deal. And you can also just go random too if you don't care. Don't care at all, it's not a big deal. Under statistics, I've only seen this in the PC version also. But yeah, this will just basically give you some stats. Which is really cool, actually. Never seen this before. And then collection stats too. So very, very cool. Oh man, I own a lot of foil cards. So I've only been playing for a week, you guys, and I have 244 foils already. So I mean, this game's gonna be throwing the stuff at you, throwing these GX and EX Pokemon cards at you, and that's what you're gonna want to kick some booty, trust me. So let's move on here. Let's talk about... So, besides that, this little button in the middle here is basically a home button if you're on anywhere else. There's also a couple of areas here where it'll just kind of show you some info, but the very last page here is where you'll click. So if you click here, it'll take you to the official Pokemon website where you can put in and redeem codes also. So for my non-PC people, that's where you'll find those options. Now when we click on the options, and we already know these are our points, so that's our in-game currency, just to go over that really quick. And then our tickets is what we were using to enter tournaments and stuff. Under options, there's just a lot of cool settings in here. So you want these tooltip hints on. You could use simple effects if you just want to, I don't know, use simple effects, I guess. I'm not sure if it makes the game go any faster. I don't think it does. And then just some various settings here. For PC, you're gonna have a video area where you can adjust resolution and you know, either make things fast or better looking, I guess. Not really much here, unfortunately. Audio, you know, we've got the audio settings, and then you could just download the whole card cache so that it doesn't have to load cards when you are seeing brand new cards. Honestly, I haven't downloaded everything. I haven't really noticed a big issue. I mean, it'll download the image of the card really fast, so it's not a big deal at all. We've got a help section here. We've got the terms of use. We've got the privacy notice, and then just an exit. So you can just, I mean, you can exit the game. You can log out if you want to log into somebody else. The only other kind of tab up here that we can mess around with is this one up here. This is kind of like your social tab. If you've got friends, they'll show up here. And there are various lobbies if you want to talk to other players. Here we got some people we got some people cursing each other out. That's always good. And then PMs will go here. So any kind of personal messages, if someone sends you something, or if you actually get something, or if there's a trade offer, it'll show up here. So honestly, very, very simple game to get into, to understand, to start playing. I highly recommend it. It's a ton of fun, especially if Pokemon's your thing. For me, I had never played a Pokemon game before. I mean, sorry, I'd never played Pokemon cards before until, you know, just recently. And wow, I'm really loving it. I've been a huge fan, and a huge competitive player in like the main series games, like Ultra Sun and everything, but never really got into the cards because I just felt like I would never catch up to all the people who were playing. But honestly, I've had a ton of fun playing this game, and versus mode is awesome. So this video is getting pretty damn long, so I'm gonna have to split this up. On the next video, we'll talk about combat and everything. It's very self-explanatory, very easy. The game will pretty much walk you through it when you're brand new. But I'm gonna cut this video off here. It's just getting way too long, but I hope this one was helpful for you guys. If you have any other questions, concerns, comments, if you want to see more Pokemon trading card or any Pokemon stuff in general, just let me know down below in the comments. It's always a pleasure to go over these videos with you and to share some opinions and just share some time with you. I hope you have an awesome day. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, you already know, hit that subscribe, share this one if you liked it, or if it helped you out and you think it would help anybody else out. I wish you the best. I'll see you soon, and I'll catch you later.